Hi, my name is Jocelyn from Cheeky DIY Home, and I love all things interior design, home decor, and DIYs especially. I today will be reviewing the Rustoleum tub and tile that I did on my bathroom that was once pink and is now white. The results are literally drastic, so when I saw before and after pictures, I kind of was like, why not? My bathroom is literally a pink, an ugly pink, and it's my whole bathroom. So for a white bathroom, I figured if it doesn't work out, at least this is temporary, because we do want to remodel it completely. And I can tell you this, yes, it looks painted on. My husband can absolutely confirm it's painted on, but he's so picky. But even he is just I don't know when we're gonna do this remodel. It kind of looks good. With that being said, eventually a whole year later, I decided to pull the trigger and do this. I did some research on it, kind of knew what the flaws would be, and decided to take matters into my own hand and do it. Now, some things I kind of wish I knew before, I will present to you now, basically. I did mess up. I will give you that right now. That's a spoiler alert. I messed up in a manner that definitely can be prevented, so hopefully you learn this lesson, and then hopefully you can then decide if you want to do this. Alright, so some things to note about this would be that first, the results are literally immediate. You are physically painting this on to the tub and tile. It's an acrylic epoxy paint, and it's really water resistant, and I can confirm that it really is. It's doing a really good job. I can tell no moisture is going through it, so it's doing really good on that. Now, some things I want to warn you guys about is the fact that one, you can't shower or expose it to water at all for at least 3 days. So that's the curing time, 3 days, no water or anything like that. Can't use it. So if you only have one bathroom, just know you can't shower in there. So do what you have to do. If you have one bathroom and you want to do this maybe near a holiday where you're going to go out of town. That's what I did for my first coat, and the other 2 times I just kind of adjusted my showering routine. But really, I think the first main thing I want to address is the smell. When I tell you guys, this smelled horrible, I absolutely mean it. I read a few reviews, basically just on the Home Depot website, saying how bad the smell was, and I totally believed it, but you don't really believe it until you experience it, I feel. So I opened all the windows up on my first day. I broke this up into 3 days, remember that. I opened all the windows up. I only had a KN95 and a surgical mask, and I got pretty lightheaded at one point. My husband was downstairs in the basement, which is where he works. He works from home now. And he basically was like, "What, are you trying to poison me?" And obviously, that's not my intention. And I did warn him that it was going to smell, but again, I didn't know how bad it was going to smell. So, this smells horrible. I'm telling you, you can easily pass out on this. If you're not paying attention that you're starting to get dizzy or anything like this, if you're not wearing the right respirator, you can basically I don't know, cause yourself some major damage with that. So that's just my 2 cents on that. I will tell you that I had all the windows open. My first day I had the fan on in the ceiling, but I did not have an external fan basically. And I can tell you this, that helps tremendously. So I opened even more windows. I turned on more fans the following 2 days that I did the tub and tile. And I also wore a respirator. This is the respirator I wore. I purchased it from Amazon. I'll kind of link it below or send someone a DM if they ask me about it. But that helped tremendously. This literally smelled like fresh air. When I was painting, I smelled nothing. Obviously, when I went outside to care of my dogs and everything like that, I came back into the house. The smell was still present after an hour of me closing things up and everything like that. So you're probably going to leave your windows open for at least 2 to 3 hours so that you can kind of tolerate the smell at your home. So yeah, my husband was gone the next 2 to 3 times that I did it. Well, the next other times that I did it, my pets were all put away. My cats were locked up in a room with the window wide open, so hoping that they wouldn't be smelling it or anything like that. And then my dogs were in the 3-season sunroom. So those are just factors you have to consider when doing this. The smell is really, really bad, and you have to consider the time that you have with this as well. You only have 6 hours to use this paint. So you kind of have to work fast, and if that's kind of another reason why I broke it up into 3 days, because I had 6 hours to use the coat, and it's not so bad that I didn't want to keep like opening up a can and be dealing with that hassle. So just another thing to consider about that. Like number 2, important things to kind of know about this. The smell, first is the smell is horrible. 2, prep is absolutely key. And with this comes basically the prep work kind of goes, wash your walls, remove all your unnecessary caulk, and caulk is really important to remove because if you do not remove the caulk well, it may not stick too well. You could eventually, when you're done with the project, be able to peel off the caulk or like pick at it, and then technically that's an area that's unpainted, if you kind of understand what I mean. But if you kind of remove most of the caulk, it will paint over it completely fine in a way, but it will show the texture of some remaining caulk. So you definitely want to remove all the unnecessary caulk that you have. For instance, I had a shower panel door that I removed. I removed as much caulk as I could in those areas, and it did really well. But I also removed part of the countertop to the sink that we had, and I forgot kind of that there was some leftover caulk, or I didn't do a good job at it. And you can see here that you can kind of see that texture of the caulk that I didn't remove too well. So just something to consider with that. Another thing is just in general, the preparation process is first clean, remove the caulk. Then you're going to want to sand down the surface so it can adhere to like the wall or the tub really well. And then you'll want to wipe that off. And then you'll want to also wipe again with the Tact Cloth, because this will remove, again, fine dust or anything like that, fine hairs, and this will really complete the job. So I really, really recommend a Tact Cloth with this. Something to also consider is the fact that you want to cover all your like your faucets and your shower head, or you want to turn off your water. This right here is where I messed up. So in the middle of painting, I had painted an area by the left side of my wall. I kind of painted up top first, and then I continued alongside going to the right side of me by over where the shower head is, and I went to move my shower head, and I didn't have the water turned off or anything like that, and I had water dripping against a lower part of the shower area that I hadn't painted yet, and I didn't realize this. That's a big no-no, because like I said, you're not really supposed to be, everything's supposed to be dry and everything like this, and this does not do well with water. Very, very bad. So I ended up not realizing this, and I accidentally painted over with some water on the surface. This is where things went bad and downhill. So this was my first coat of paint, did really well. Day 1 did really well. My second coat of paint was when this occurred. So as I was painting, I kind of noticed that the paint was acting a little weird, and it was like not sticking as well to that surface. I hadn't put 2 and 2 together, so I just kind of kept painting. And then I realized then something was up, but I was like, I mean, what can I do? So I just kind of let it be. I let it dry. I tried to apply more paint once it was dry to that area, but it still kind of looked a little like crumbly, and it didn't look like it was adhered to the wall as well in that one area. So another bad thing that I decided to do was I let it all dry. I did the rest of the walls in my tub, and everything did really well with that. The next time around, I decided, you know what, I'm going to sand this area down and see what happens. Like, I felt like it was going to act like normal paint, where if you smoothen things out, it won't be obvious if you paint it over. Wrong. Wrong, 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 wrong. Instead, like, a chemical reaction happened instead, and it, like, crystallized more. So it just didn't work, and the worst part is I sanded it down like crazy. It was like literally 2 dots that were bad before, and now I like exposed it to this whole area, and it just did horrible. So if you do somehow manage to mess up, just don't even bother sanding it because you'll just expose the area more and you'll make it worse, basically, is what I'm trying to get at. So that's just another thing to take note of too. Some other things I kind of want you to consider if you're going to do this project is the fact that I read in a lot of reviews that if you somehow were to put like a suction mat on this, that it would likely peel off the paint, and I read that across many platforms, so I do think that's a high possibility. I also accidentally did get duct tape on this, and it did peel it off like instantaneously, so I absolutely do trust that. Putting a slip mat on this, or especially a mat with suction cups, would definitely not work in this scenario. Another thing is, with that, people decided to put those mats on for a reason. And that is, this does make the surface more slippery. So I haven't experienced that myself just yet. I did maybe sand it, but also I have 2 large dogs. They're like 60 pounds or so. I don't think I would trust this tub, or like the refinish of the tub, to really be scratch proof for their nails. I easily could see them scratching this up and just like revealing the old paint before, so I don't think this would be a good tub to put your large pets in. That's just something I wouldn't recommend. This is, again, a temporary thing, at least for me, and it could be for many of you. I do recommend this project for a temporary project, DIY, to kind of like just give your bathroom a nice facelift. I don't think it would be a great long-term thing, depending on, you know, the factors I mentioned. Really, more so, I do think it could get damaged kind of easily. I don't know, I guess that's it. Just remember, you can't shower in it for about 3 days. When you're done with it, the smell is really, really bad. Do not get any water on this while you're painting, and prep is absolutely important. And then, you know, like, you only have 6 hours to use this, so use it effectively. Oh, I did forget one thing. I noticed, and I read a lot of reviews on this, that you need a lot of these foam brushes. Yes, this is true, but I also noticed that when I used a higher quality like foam brushes, this is the brand I use from Home Depot. I'll kind of like show it below. Maybe if it focuses. That's it there. This did really good. It lasted longer than the products from like the value store that I purchased from. It was a quick and easy access for me, so I ended up using it. That's when the foam brushes started to deteriorate. With it, they didn't like deteriorate. They kind of like loosened in a way, and they like kind of were falling off. So that's just something to take note of. Depending on how many coats you use, you'll need a good amount of these. I probably used maybe 4 of these, but I did 3 coats, and I only, you know, I did 3 applications, but technically like 2 to 3 coats depending on the surface area. So that's just something to consider. You definitely probably should have at least 3 to 4 of these. If your area is really big that you need to work with, bulk up on more. Alright? So I hope this was really helpful. If you have any questions regarding this project, please reach out to me. If you did like this video and found it helpful, please like, follow me, subscribe to me. I plan to be doing a lot more DIYs that are really affordable and then reviewing them right after for anyone who's also like me that kind of needs that confirmation if they should really continue and do that. And yeah, thanks for watching. Bye.